I don't know, I just like him.
You like the gingers?
I do.
Hollywood just froze in disbelief. At 82, Raquel Welch, the woman who defined beauty, mystery, and power, finally revealed the 6 men who truly made her heart race and her imagination run wild. Not gossip, not rumor, her own confession. These weren't just actors. They were living legends, men who ruled an era and left even Raquel Welch blushing. From untamed charm to quiet danger, each name carries a story that will make you see Hollywood's golden age like never before. So, buckle up, because what Raquel just admitted isn't just shocking, it's iconic. Stay with us till the end. You won't believe who made the list. The first name came easily: Burt Reynolds. The moment the interviewer mentioned him, Raquel laughed, her eyes lighting up with mischief. Now that was a man who knew how to make an entrance, she said. The two met on the set of 100 Rifles in the late 1960s, a film shot under the punishing desert sun, where the air was thick with dust, tension, and electricity. And right in the middle of it all stood Burt, grinning like he owned the place. He had this wild energy, she recalled. You couldn't stay mad at him, even when he was driving you crazy. Burt Reynolds was pure mischief, the kind of man who could make a long day feel like a party. Before every take, he'd crack a joke just to test if she could keep a straight face. And half the time, she couldn't. That sparkle on camera? It wasn't acting. It was Burt being Burt, spontaneous, fearless, and irresistibly charming. Yet, behind that swagger, Raquel saw something deeper. An old-school gentleman who understood that real chemistry wasn't about stealing scenes, but about sharing them. He had that twinkle, she said softly. The second man she named carried a different kind of magic. Dean Martin. The moment his name was mentioned, her tone softened, her smile turning nostalgic. Dean, she said slowly. Nobody ever had that kind of cool. They worked together on Bandolero. And from the first day, Raquel noticed that Dean didn't just walk onto a set. He floated. He didn't perform, she said. He flowed. Dean Martin was the heartbeat of every room he entered. He made everyone feel at ease. Cast, crew, even the extras. With that half-smile and velvet voice, he could turn the most stressful shoot into a laid-back gathering. Dean Martin was grace in a tuxedo, Raquel remembered. He didn't need to try to be charming. He just was. When Dean was around, everything felt lighter. The laughter came easier, the lines flowed smoother, and the days didn't seem as long. She admired his ease, that effortless rhythm that made you forget the cameras and lights. He had this rare kind of kindness, she said. He never had to prove he was the star. He just reminded you what grace looked like when it walked across a room. Then she took a long breath and smiled. The third name, Frank Sinatra. Just saying it changed the room. Frank didn't walk into a room, she said. He shifted it. They never made a full film together, but their paths crossed often, at premieres, elegant parties, and long dinners that always ended the same way. Frank Sinatra at the piano, commanding the night. When he sang, Raquel said, even in a quiet room, you couldn't look anywhere else. He didn't perform, he commanded. His presence was like midnight silk, smooth, confident, and slightly dangerous. He had this rare gift, she recalled. He made every woman feel like she was the only one in the world, for 3 minutes. Then the song ended, and you realized 50 others felt the same way. That was the power of Frank Sinatra. He didn't chase moments, he created them. He was cool, confident, completely aware of his own power. She smiled. And believe me, you never forgot it. Beneath the charm was an old-school respect, the kind of chivalry that made you feel protected. When she reached the fourth name, her eyes lit up in a different way. Clint Eastwood, she said with a soft laugh. He was the quiet kind of dangerous. They first crossed paths in the late 60s, when Hollywood was shifting from the studio era to something rawer, more real. Clint Eastwood embodied that change. He didn't have to shout or pose, she said. He'd just look at you, and that was enough. He carried a stillness that pulled people in. On set, Clint could say more with one look than most actors could with a whole monologue. Stillness, she said thoughtfully, can be power. You don't have to fill the room. You just have to own the quiet. Raquel admired his discipline, his ability to command attention without demanding it. He was kind, she added. Not the kind that announces itself. The kind that shows up when someone needs help, when the crew's tired, or when a young actor's nervous. Clint Eastwood taught her that silence can flirt, and that true confidence doesn't need to be loud. He reminded me, she said, that strength can whisper. Her voice softened again as she reached the fifth name, Paul Newman. Just saying it made her smile. Now there was the definition of effortless, she said. Everything about Paul was natural. His charm, his focus, his quiet sense of humor. He didn't play the part of a star, she said. He just was one. On set, there was no ego, no tension. He had this calm that made everyone around him better, Raquel recalled. He'd make you laugh just when you were about to lose it. Paul Newman had a way of reminding people what mattered. He used to say acting was telling the truth under imaginary circumstances, she said. And he did that every single time the camera rolled. To her, that was the essence of real artistry, honesty without performance. He wasn't loud, he wasn't dramatic, but his presence filled every space he entered. He reminded me what this job is supposed to be about, Raquel said. Connection, respect, grace under pressure. And then came the last name, Sean Connery. The moment the interviewer said it, Raquel laughed, that famous sparkle flashing across her face. You could spot Sean a mile away, she said. That stride, that voice, that certainty in who he was. To Raquel, Sean Connery wasn't just James Bond on screen. He was Bond everywhere he went. He didn't chase attention, she said. He carried it. A single glance, a shift in tone, and suddenly the entire room leaned forward. If silence could flirt, she joked, it would sound like Sean Connery. Beneath the magnetism, though, was something gentler, a warmth that surprised people. He was polite, funny, curious, she said. He'd ask about your family, your next project, what you were reading. That's why people trusted him. He listened. His humor was razor sharp. That dry Scottish wit that could turn the simplest line into something unforgettable. He taught me, she said, that real confidence isn't loud. It's calm, measured, and self-contained. He never tried to outshine anyone. When she finally finished naming them, Burt Reynolds, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, Clint Eastwood, Paul Newman, and Sean Connery, she leaned back and laughed softly, her eyes gleaming with nostalgia. Those six, she said, each had something rare: charisma, confidence, kindness, the kind of magic that doesn't fade with fame or time. For a moment, it felt like you could see them all again. The wild energy of Burt, the effortless cool of Dean, the midnight charm of Frank, the quiet power of Clint, the gentleness of Paul, and the magnetic grace of Sean, all standing beside the woman who matched every one of them in beauty, strength, and spirit. Because in truth, Raquel Welch wasn't just another star orbiting around Hollywood's men. She was a force in her own right. She wasn't the fantasy they filmed. She was the reality they remembered. Every time she walked into a room, the world shifted a little, just as it did for the men she admired. She carried herself with the same grace and authority they did, maybe even more. They taught me things, she once said, each in their own way, about presence, about kindness, about knowing your worth without shouting it. Those lessons became part of her, woven into the woman the world came to know. Not just the sex symbol, but the survivor, the artist, the legend. In the end, Raquel Welch wasn't just Hollywood's goddess. She was its heartbeat, a flame that never faded. Her grace, power, and unforgettable charm defined an era and continue to inspire generations. Because true legends never die. They shine forever on screen and in memory. If you loved this journey through her golden world, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more untold Hollywood stories, where beauty, mystery, and timeless magic still live on. Thanks for watching.